that one's got the skinny edge on top because we can block the edge with a hold, so it's not always easily. It's not every route has the same problem essentially.
So I'm Ross. I'm the head route setter here at TCA Prop Store and TCA Newsroom. Basically, I'm in charge of the team that builds the coloured circuits throughout both climbing centres in Glasgow. I think I've been setting for almost 20 years. I started back in the day in the climbing centre in Dundee. From there I moved over to Germany. I'd say Germany's a little bit ahead of the trend because they have a bit more of a competition scene than we do in Scotland. In Scotland, what I feel is there's such a tight community of climbers, which is really welcoming of new climbers. So you'll see people climbing some of the hardest circuits here, but they're friends with people who are just beginning to climb, who are climbing maybe the first or second circuit. I'd say my big plan for TCA is just to modernise how we run the back end of route setting. More modern holds, more modern volumes. Eventually we'll start training up new route setters from scratch. So trying to evolve route setting in Scotland. I'm always an advocate for bringing in fresh ideas to the team, which means bringing in freelancers that sit at other gyms, and they basically bring in different boulders, a different style, which can only be a benefit to the customer base. The customers are going to basically climb on boulders they've never climbed on before. Every route set will have a very particular style. Two head route setters can test the same boulder problem. From the, let's say, adjusting, testing, tweaking, you'll get two completely different end products. Now, I would say my style of route setting is quite visual. I like you to be drawn into the boulder before you even climb it. It's like with food, you see the food before you taste it. I want you to be able to look at the boulder and go, wow, I want to climb that. But in the same respect, I want my boulders to be technical, not just brute force. So this is a slab. So basically there we can get away with far less holds, much more about balance. Basically, that's what we're trying to make people be able to use. It's not just a physical pulling. We want to be able to use their legs, their centre of gravity, and basically this was more about the movement, the pure technique, rather than pure power or strength. The one I set was yesterday was the blue one here. And as you can see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 holds. That's all there is. And to look at it, you're like, well, how would you get from this bottom section to the top? There's not very many holds. What I wanted to create is like a situation where you have no handholds to get to the last hold, and it's just a trust process of standing up on your legs. I mean, here, completely hands-free, just on my legs, balancing. Last hold. So we'll come in the morning, we'll all be stripped. We'll pick volumes and any sort of macro holds we have that we can set a line with, and basically I'll just ask if anyone's got a particular idea they want to get on the wall, and basically I'll support them and try and help them get that idea onto the wall. That might just be a particular type of move in a certain colour or grade, and then basically they'll set that, and then we'll test it with them, and we'll get other setters in to test it, and from that we'll try to evolve that boulder into what that person's ideal was, basically. What I want to happen is that if someone goes to a different gym and they say, oh yeah, I was a route setter at TCA, the gym will know, right, you're a TCA route setter. Perfect, we know what we're getting with you. What we definitely want to do is to block this top section so that you can't just use that as a giant foothold. Okay. And what was good is we can get something a bit easier that goes from bottom left up top right. We're basically trying to reset the entire gym in 6 to 7 weeks. It's the optimal amount of time. Any quicker than 6 weeks, people don't have enough time to climb their projects. Longer than 6 weeks, what you'll start to notice that the routes are much dirtier, much more chalky, and you don't want to climb them anymore. What I would love to be able to do is wipe all my memories of climbing and come through the doors as someone who's never climbed before, ever, and have that initial first experience again. And that learning process of like, oh, how do you do this? Like, what's all the different colours? What does it all mean? You kind of put yourself in their place. If you walk into the centre and just look at the wall, it's just covered in colourful holds. And then you say to someone, oh yeah, climb up, just use one colour. They're like, oh, one colour? Oh, that's a bit more of a challenge. And every time you introduce something new like that, it's like this exponential growth of how someone looks at climbing. I mean, it starts like this and then it just widens and widens and widens. Well, if you think about it, these new climbers they're climbers, and I treat them exactly the same respect that I would treat someone who's been climbing 20, 30 years or longer than myself. Their experience is as valid as anyone else's. I wouldn't gatekeep climbing. I want people to experience climbing because it's brought me so much fun. I still enjoy it every single day, The more people that get introduced to climbing, I think it's better. It's just a fantastic sport. It's physical, mental, there's strategy, there's everything that goes into it.